Look, it's all a blur at this. What day is it even right now? I don't even know.
Well, this is the strangest thing, seeing Jimmy in what I assume is Grandma's house. It looks like Grandma's house.
I wish I could
have
see
no
it.
idea.
Do you have doilies?
There's some old grandma stuff on the wall. Oh, yeah. There we go.
It's much more
I wouldn't
decorated
even know how to
than
describe
office.
that. What would you say that was, Joe?
Elderly aunt.
Is she into Disney or just Cinderella?
Cinderella.
Stephanie, I could see your copy of Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants behind you on your on the shelf there. Good evening, weirdos, and welcome to yet another edition of Livin' Cruddy with Cruddy Joe. I am, of course, Cruddy Joe, and I'm here with the Getty Along gang. We have handsome Jimmy Hansen on location in Illinois. We have Gino Royd Coffinberry, the brains behind everything Cruddy Joe. And our very special guest is a musician, a podcaster, a Sid and Marty Krofft aficionado, a founding member of the NWO, and the better half to Brian's worser half, the Steph Infection herself, Mrs. Stephanie Brush.
Hi! How's it going, fellas?
Good, how are you,
Welcome.
man?
Fantastic.
Well, I would start off by saying we tried to reach out to Stephanie a long time ago after we talked to Troy to get her to come on, because we were going to do our exotic ones thing, but apparently she's abandoned Facebook on us, so it took a little longer to get a hold of her. But once we did, she was like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do this. So And she turns up in tiger stripes.
I'm in my pajamas.
Well, who isn't?
Hey, well, once I get home from work, jammies are on.
I hear that. Well, I was first made aware of Stephanie back in, I don't know what year it was. We played a gig with her band, the Cruds did, with the Clutters, which was the first band I was aware of that she was in. We played with you guys and Slack at the Exit Inn.
Yes. But that was probably 2004, maybe.
It was a while back. I don't know. I don't think Jimmy was even in the band at that point.
It was a long time ago.
Well, I remember you stood out. You were a very animated drummer, more so than I think that you are with the exotic ones. And it was a cool deal to say, hey, there's a female who is like the most animated person in the band. So
thank you.
Cool.
It was that band was a lot faster, I guess, than the exotic ones. Like our tempos are kind of all over the place with our songs, but the Clutters was more like just garage bashy stuff, and I was just a lot younger back then, so I was probably a little more animated and just excited to be playing rock and roll.
I hear that. Well, subsequent to that, I know we would see you at the Cult Fiction once in a while. When I didn't know Ryan then. Ryan, when I first saw you with him, had a very strange haircut. What I remember.
He probably had more like a mo cut with bangs. And
he was either
big
the
mutton chop, probably.
Exactly. He was either the coolest guy in the room or the fucking biggest nerd, and I couldn't figure it out.
It's a little bit of both.
Right. But that was when I discovered that you were having some vision problems. And I don't know that you saw me there. I may have walked by and said hi, and you were just like, I didn't know.
Well, my vision's deteriorated a lot since I first met you. Like when the Clutters used to play, I actually used to drive back then. So yeah, I have a thing called retinitis pigmentosa. It's degenerative. So yeah, I no longer drive. Thank goodness for the world. But I now have like a cane and everything. But a lot of people that knew me before would see me out later, and that's before I had a cane and all that goodness. So they just thought I was a bitch and ignoring them. And I was like, no, guys, I just can't see you. I'm sorry.
Well, I wasn't familiar enough with you at the time to say, well, maybe she just doesn't even remember me. But you came by when we were doing the Evil Pumpkins tables at a couple of the full moon things.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that you were having trouble seeing. And I'm like, that explains everything.
Yeah. So she's not a total cunt. I just try to tell people hey, now they obviously know I can't see because I have my stick and everything. But I'm like, hey, just next time if you see me out, but just tap me and go, hey, it's so-and-so, I met you, blah, blah, blah. And I'll remember that. I try to remember names.
Years go by, and then you guys asked me about playing in your Alice Cooper band. And that's when and I haven't seen you guys. I mean, nobody's seen anybody for a while, but it's been a while since any of that stuff happened.
I know. Gosh, I want to play song gigs again.
But in that time period, you joined a band that we were readily familiar with, the Exotic Ones, one of the very first bands, which we had played with many times, more so in the old days than even now. So now you're made the full circle, join those guys, and I assume that when music comes back together, we'll do some more shows then. And
I hope so. We need to play together again. Actually, I met those guys. I'd probably met them before because John Hudson was in Trauma Team. Just never really knew him. And then when I joined Eat My Fucks, I met all those guys when we were doing the Anarchy in the UK tour. And they were like, do you want to be in the Exotic list? I was like, yeah.
I knew Brian, the old drummer. I still know him. I mean, and then I thought they had broken up, and then I heard that they were still playing, and I'm like, who's playing drums? And they're like, oh, Steph's playing, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I wasn't in the incarnation of the Eat My Fucks that you were in at the time. I had played the time before that with Mark Meadows.
Right, yeah. I think you didn't have time to do that one or something.
That was right when my ears.
That's right. That's what it was. And
there was no way I was going to be able to play in more than just one thing. It was just too harsh on my ears at the time.
Oh, totally. I totally understand.
One of the times I was visiting to the Brush House to play with the Alice Cooper band, I brought Cruddy Joe along with us, and you guys had talked about doing a podcast.
I was unceremoniously fired.
I still want to do that podcast about Sid Marty Croft one of these days. Now that we have Zoom capability at our house, maybe we can make it happen.
No, I don't think any of us thought that we could do anything with Zoom until we actually came in here and did this. This is episode 29 of
Awesome.
We have not missed a week. It's a lot of work. Jimmy's got the budget under control.
There's big money in this.
Gotcha.
Big money.
He's the money and the looks.
There you go.
We always have to go into Jimmy's looks on this thing.
Yeah,
Well, you know, it is important. It's all I have, really.
Well, since you already touched on a bit, I do have to know, Stephanie, just how many bands are you in?
I'm currently like none because we're not playing. At one point, I was in 6 at one time. We had Eat My Fucks going, the Alice Cooper Band, Mystery Twins, Exotic Ones, Mighty Jabronis, and Rocket to Russia at one time. But
Damn.
that was only for about a year span that all 6 of those bands were active.
And all
then
drums, right?
All drums.
That's the life of a drummer. You end up being everybody.
There aren't enough drummers. But luckily, well, Ryan Sweeney's always in like 100 bands. He's a drummer. Actually, I had to fill in for him once with Judas East because his wife was having a baby. I think that was in the same span when all 6 bands were happening.
It's good to be wanted, right, Steph?
Yeah, it is. It's nice to be loved.
So tell us how you ended up. I know you're not from Nashville, like none of us are, but how you ended up here and where you came from.
Well, I grew up in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is like right outside of Philly. It's just basically the college and farmers and cows. So nothing is there but the college. And I was playing in bands back then, and my roommate Kevin's band was putting up a band for the night. I ended up like hooking up with their singer and moving to South Carolina with him like a year later. And then we moved to Nashville together. Then I dumped him and met Doug and Jake and started playing music. Playing in the Clutters. That was back in 1999, I guess. Yeah, I've been here like 21 years.
You beat me by a year.
Were you in Florida before this?
Yes.
Gene? Okay, I thought so.
2 Billy people in a row.
Really? Oh, your last person was the Bigfoot guy, right?
Yep. Suburban Sasquatch guy.
I need to check that movie out.
No.
You do.
No?
Are you telling me you watched that movie, Jimmy?
I've seen enough of that movie to know it's terrifying.
Yeah, there's a good doubleheader for you, Stephanie. You and Brian can watch Suburban Sasquatch followed by Things.
That would be an awesome afternoon at the Brush House.
Then commit seppuku.
You start talking to these filmmakers, and then you're like, oh, I hadn't planned on watching this movie again. Now I have some other insight that makes me want to go back and watch it. And I'm dreading the idea of having going back and watch Things one more time. But the Barry Gillis experience was just so over the top. Jimmy had a hard time with that.
I have PTSD from it.
He was texting me the last half of that, basically asking me, please end it.
I thought I was the only one texting you.
That's hilarious.
Joe was texting me saying he was going to fake a seizure.
Yeah, but we need a code word. We need a code word for that, Joe.
Oh my God. Back in the before time, we'd be out somewhere. I get stuck talking to somebody and Ryan couldn't tell if I was actually into the conversation or not. And then I'd be like, oh my God. And I can't like make eye contact with him and be like, get me out of this conversation. So he's like, we need a code word. He's like, okay, it's bathroom now. I'm like, okay.
That's the one we're going to use, Joe. Bathroom now.
Bathroom.
Better code word. I hate this person.
Not a code, Joe.
Yeah.
The point of the code is that it's veiled.
Fuck this noise.
When I was married, we had a code phrase, and it was "the cat's out of the bag." That meant let's get the hell out of here.
I might have to change that. I might have to steal yours.
That is a
That's
good
not
one.
quite as
Call your-
obvious as bathroom now.
It's So I won't be using that again. So you can have it.
Okay, I'll take yours. You can have mine.
Okay.
We'll switch.
Oh, no.
So what kind of music and stuff what's your jam?
My jam? Mostly 80s, like electronic, cheesy.
Really?
Like, yeah, that's all I listen to anymore. Human League, Sector 25, and the cheesier the better. 80s is like my jam. I don't know, like I guess because like that was my junior high and high school days. I mean, I graduated high school in 1989. So I loved Duran Duran.
Right.
That is stuff.
Yeah, everybody did.
Ryan just got me this electronic music compilation. It's like all fun electronic music, kind of Kraftwerky type stuff, but I think it's all English. But I've never even heard of 90% of the bands on there. There's like this weird computer version of like, do you think I'm sexy? And they're all talking like robots. It's pretty good. I'll have to like have Ryan pull it out and we'll figure out. That sounded gross. Ryan, pull it out.
But on this show, you won't, man. This is a family show.
Best podcast ever.
I forgot what good That's What She Said game Stephanie had because it was ongoing.
Any practice? Oh, because you know, band practice, everything's can be phallic.
Oh, yeah.
Knobs and whatever. We try to beat each other to the punch. Yeah, I'm 12.
Yeah.
I'm a 12-year-old boy mentally.
Yeah, we're much more mature. We just do D's nuts jokes all the time.
That's right.
That's what she said. I get it. We just found out something fun to do with Alexa the other day. Alexa will fart. It is the funniest thing. Like, Alexa, fart. And then she'll be like, oh, that was a windy one. Do you want to hear another fart? I'm like, yes, random.
Of course
like,
I do.
it's 20 minutes. We just kept doing it. I was crying. That's my mentality. 12-year-old boy.
Well, that's a great. You can imagine how many kids are asking their parents to get Alexa once they find out.
Yeah.
First, I know we in the past had caught up with what music Jimmy likes, and he established that he was huge on Jimmy Page and the Beatles, Faces, and Small Faces. But I don't think we ever asked Joe. He's never related what he's into.
Other than Journey.
Yeah, you forgot to mention Jimmy's love of Backstreet Boys.
You know, one time.
One time per week.
I listened to the same stuff I listened to when I was in the 8th grade. Fugazi, Minor Threat, Nation of Ulysses, Avail.
He's one of those guys.
I listened to a lot of that stuff in college, and I still listen to that stuff. I loved Fugazi. I've seen them several times. I actually got to see Nation of Ulysses once, too.
Nowadays, I only listen to the Gino Royd Experience.
Yeah.
Well, why would you listen to anything else? So I make them listen to that. It's a prerequisite. I get the Minor Threat thing. I never quite got the whole half emo thing that kind of followed that. I have a lot of friends that would want to literally strangle me for saying that.
Emo's okay. It's all right to cry, Gene. Embrace your emotions.
Just let it out.
Touch with your sensitive side.
I got a private message from the dude from Dag Nasty. He was in the Descendants and Dag Nasty, and he was in the band called Field Day, which is regarded, I guess, as the original emo band. He contacted me because somebody apparently had told him I was the hookup for Nashville bands. I had to break it to him that I didn't have any connects for him at all.
Ken, you just got to be on my podcast, and then I'll get you hooked up.
Was he trying to find shows in Nashville?
Yeah.
He was trying to find a drummer.
Ryan Sweeney.
He specifically said they have to be between 21 and 25. I don't know anybody in any band that's between 21 and 25.
It's ageist.
I'm way past that.
Everybody in this room is way past that.
Wait, yeah, I could be their mom or their cool aunt.
Definitely the cool aunt.
Cool aunt. I never want to be a mom. Not to a human, anyway.
We talked a little bit previously about that you liked the John Waters movies. What films are your jam?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure is my favorite movie of all time. Mostly goofy, silly, kind of trashy movies. Trashy horror. Like Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite movies. Like Army of Darkness, all that good stuff. Or like Tim Burton.
I once saw a picture on Facebook of you dressed as a crab. I wanted to ask, is that your true form, or are you and Ryan into some kinky crustacean thing?
That was actually for our work Halloween costume. We did Deadliest Catch. So I was like, can I just be a crab? And they're like, sure. Because they were all like wearing fisherman outfits and stuff.
Let me guess, everybody tried to catch you.
No. They would throw me back.
That's terrible.
Ooh, crabs.
I never had crabs. And I've used the CBGB's bathroom before and never got
Hey, yeah, right.
You think spring water bathroom was bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, CB's put that one to shame. So gross.
There's somewhere online that say a 3-dimensional cube of the old CB's bathroom that somebody reassembled from photos.
Oh my God. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've
And
been
then
there.
you don't get the smell.
Yeah, it's pretty vile. I wasn't there in the 70s when there was dog shit on the floor, but
No, I was there late 80s, early 90s.
I saw
But
a
it was
helmet
still
there
banned.
in late,
Oh, wow.
early 90s maybe, when they were still an AMREP thing.
I saw them during that era.
They were brutal then. They also went on to, I think, be a new metal precursor, which was terrible.
I wouldn't blame them for that.
No, but they were Drop D, and it was the beginning of all that shit. It all became horrible.
Oh, yeah. The 90s was a very odd time.
It looked like it was going places, and then it fell apart.
Jimmy prefers drop D's.
Drop
D's
D's
nuts.
D's nuts, that's right.
You bastard.
I know you were saying you're into 80s music and electronica, but what was the music that got you interested in drumming?
Actually, The Muppet Show, Animal, and Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. I've wanted to play drums ever since I was little, just because of Animal and Mickey Dolenz.
Controversial question here. Mickey Dolenz, best voice of the 60s or not?
Oh.
He is.
He
The
still
answer is
has a
yes, he
great.
is.
His voice still sounds the same.
Yeah,
Like, have you
I saw him
heard
at the
like?
Ryman 3 years ago. He sounded the same.
I met him at the Fanboy Convention a year ago this summer back in Knoxville, and he was super, super nice. And I told him he and Animal were the reason I play drums, and he was like, he just started laughing. I'm like, it's the truth.
Why is it the older he gets, the more his face looks like a catcher's mitt?
I know. He's a little leathery.
Happens to all of us.
You got to stay out of the sun.
Well, I got that down. Most importantly, have you ever worked at the Tower Records in Nashville?
No, I have not. I haven't worked at
some
any
reason I
record
thought you
stores in
did.
Nashville. I worked at record stores back home in Pennsylvania.
Okay, well, true or false? They say that the road is no place to start a family.
True.
It is true because Steve Perry said it.
That's Joe's Bible, the word of Steve Perry.
That's
But
right.
you are really into Journey.
I'm not really into him. I mean,
No, he is.
Okay. I thought you all were kidding.
We will not let him deny that. He's stuck to that.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Oh, yes. It is a bad thing.
Well, there's a famous video of Joe singing along to Walking Down the Boulevard song?
Wheel in the Sky, isn't it? No.
Oh, yeah. Keep going, Joe. Keep stringing us along like you're
It
not.
is
Jimmy
not
Fallon.
Wheel in the Sky. The fuck is the name of that song?
Well, now it's playing in my head. Don't Stop Believing?
There it
Don't
is.
Stop Believing. That's it. That's the one. I knew if somebody said it, I would then take credit for it.
You're the secret fan. Who is the bigger horror nerd, you or Ryan?
Ryan, he knows a lot more than I do. I just like what's goofy. He has movies I've never heard of.
Yeah, he's always talking about some crazy shit that, I mean,
And like Giallos and all those Italian crime movies.
it would be interesting to get him together with Joe to compare knowledge of oddball movies. And it'd probably be a little different, but there would be some nerd competition there.
It'd be interesting.
Does your walking cane turn into a sword?
It does not.
Aw.
Can one of you guys make it that way?
We
make
can
it
totally
so?
hook that up.
I thought Ryan would be all over it already, to be honest. I'm disappointed in him.
He'd be the first one to get cut.
On accident. So yeah, it would be a disaster. I'd
He'd
be
like,
cutting
check
the wrong
this out.
people.
Swinging, and he'd be like, hello, hello.
Whoopsie.
All right, so are we ready to move on to the game show portion of this?
Yes.
Oh no, I'm gonna get them all wrong.
People rarely do better than half. Well, you come from a place where you're surrounded continually by music, so you might have a little bit of an advantage here.
I don't know. We'll find out.
The way this works is I'll recite a couple lines from a song. You need to tell me the following line,
Okay.
name of the band, name of the song.
Okay.
If you don't think you know it, you can say Jimmy or Cruddy Joe. They're both really terrible. You might get a more ridiculous answer if you ask Joe. But sometimes you might get lucky. Joe's come through with the rare movie quote response. Again, the only thing
Okay.
you can't do is consult Google or me.
Okay. I won't have a problem with Google because I can't see shit.
Right. All right. The first one is I'll recite the first couple lines. You tell me the following line, name of the band, name of the song.
Okay.
I think I lost some weight there, and I'm sure I need some rest. Sleep and don't come easy. What's the next line?
I have no fucking idea. Joe?
I'll need to hear it again.
Oh, jeez.
I think I lost some weight there, and I'm sure I need some rest. Sleeping don't come very easy.
Why
Next
don't you
line.
show me your breasts?
Ah!
100%.
I think that's right.
That's probably better than the original verse, but that is not correct. Do any of you guys know the name of the band? Or
No.
All right. Well, that is Alice Cooper, The Ballad of Dwight Fry, and the subsequent line is In a Straight White Vest.
I'm bad with lyrics.
Well, I'll give you a couple more. So
Okay.
let's try one that you may know here. Going home late last night, suddenly I got a fright. Yeah, I looked through a window and surprised what I saw. What is the next line?
Wait a minute. I know this.
Going home late last night, suddenly I got a fright. Yeah, I looked through a window and surprised what I saw.
Why can I not get this? I know I'm going to kick myself for not knowing it.
Might be that cat that's creeping around behind you.
Yeah, probably. I am so bad about being on the spot with things.
Well, you got lifelines still.
Jimmy.
Oh, I know it's fairies wear boots. I don't know if I know what the next line is, though.
Surprise what I saw. Fairies wear boots are dancing with a dwarf.
Yes.
There it
you got
is.
Black Sabbath,
get it.
fairies wear boots. Thank you, Jimmy. Like, I
What the
know
hell?
the words. You're giving me like easy ones and I'm getting them wrong.
Brian was back there.
I thought he
was it?
was.
That's how he sneaks around when you're at home normally.
Yeah.
On his hands and knees.
Oh, was he on his hands and knees?
Yes, he was.
Skulking around.
Yeah, we've discovered his creepy skulking ways. Do you want to try for the third one, or do you want to move on to the movie stuff?
Let me try. Why not? I'll probably get it wrong.
The next one is Little Lady, Can't You See? You're so young. It's so much different than I'm 93. You're 16.
I don't know the next line. Is that Kiss, Christine 16?
No, but it is. You got the band right.
Ryan will know. Okay. Listen to these lyrics and tell me the next line of the song.
All right, go for it.
Little lady, can't you see? You're so young, so much different than I'm 93. You're 16. What's the next line?
Oh God, I should know this. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know
Look.
the song, but I just can't remember what it is.
Which song was it?
That is Going Blind. The line is, can't you see? I'm going blind.
That was a good one. Because I'm blind. So I should have known that. Well, at least I knew it was Kiss.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
You should get points for that.
It's
And
disgusting.
hopefully you're not mad at me for that.
No, not at all. I find that hilarious. I told you can't offend me.
When you told me that, the only reason I went with that song.
Was that a Gene Simmons one?
Yes, it is. It's
Okay, because he's a
off the
fucking pig.
Yes, he is. He's caught a lot of shit for that particular set of lyrics as well over the
It's
years.
like, ugh, so gnarly.
Even Paul Stanley said he thought that one was disgusting. So.
That's what he's crossing the line.
All right, so let's move on to the quote from the movies. And the same thing applies. Okay, so the first one is, I will recite the quote. Tell me the name of the movie and who says it in that movie. The first one is, you trying to tell me you didn't hear that shriek? That was something trying to get out of its premature grave, and I don't want to be here when it does.
Was that from Return of the Living Dead?
It's not. No.
It's not. Damn it. Sorry, I don't know then.
Do you want to use a lifeline? Jimmy,
Jimmy.
you know that doesn't make any difference to her, right?
Jimmy, go here.
Are you like
he turned
giving
off
me
his
hand?
light.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy, go here.
Joe might know it.
Joe knows. Joe, tell her
Joe.
the
Children shouldn't play with dead things?
It's B from Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh, shit.
I just watched
with
that
fan-
like a month ago.
I was going to say I would try to read this in a lispy voice, but the next one is, this was a pretty well-known one. You might be able to get this one. The quote is, one of these days I'm going to get organized.
I have no idea.
You got lifelines.
Joe.
Please say it again.
One of these days I'm going to get organized.
Halle Berry and Baps.
We're going to have to put a disclaimer that BAPS can never be the answer to any of that. The movie is Taxi Driver, and that is Robert De Niro. Travis Bickle.
right? Travis Bickle.
Okay.
It happens on the Columbus Circle when he's sitting there with, what's her name?
Jodie Foster.
No,
no.
the other one.
Gary Coleman.
Yeah, Gary Coleman.
Dana Plato.
Yep,
Yeah.
Dana Plato. She's right.
Yes,
Dana
it was
Plato,
Dana Plato.
Suicide Winnebago.
Oh, my
The
God.
alternate version of Taxi Driver that had Dana Plato in it. All right, so you got 1 of 5. So you definitely did not do the worst. These guys didn't get them either. So
I totally missed that Alice Cooper lyric. 'Cause when I listen to Alice Cooper songs, I'm listening to riffs and where I'm supposed to go next.
You can make up for the missed questions by doing
Okay.
a kick-ass Werner Herzog impersonation.
Oh gosh, can I just say anything?
Sure.
Go for
I
it.
like to listen to Kraftwerk. I don't know.
That was my favorite one. That was my
Okay.
favorite Werner.
If fun boys get a room.
Hey, Proud Boys, get a room.
Proud Boys, that's better than fun.
He's a weird pop culture phenomenon now that everybody wants him in their stuff. He's even in like that Star Wars thing that you like, right, Jimmy?
Yep, he was great. He said, make sure they use a puppet. He was like, don't use animation, use a puppet.
Yeah, we watched the shit out of that.
That was good.
Wow. I didn't have to know that because I can't see who's in it. I could just hear voices.
Yeah.
Luckily, Disney has audio descript, so I know what's going on. The one little robot, that's Richard Ayoade's voice. Like, he's a British comedian. He was on IT Crowd and stuff. Ryan, look at the credits to make sure. He's like, yep. I was like, I got it. I know voices.
It's a skill you've developed.
Yeah, I have to know voices because I can't see shit. So.
Werner had a predominant role in the last season of Metalocalypse as well.
Well, oh my God. What was his character's name?
He was on the council. They would have him reading scripts at the beginning of the episodes, which were like half of those damn episodes were based off of Fitzcarraldo.
The boat thing. Yes. Ryan's like, oh, that's from Fitzcarraldo. I was like, what?
Because you were talking about Star Wars, and I was going to ask if you watched the series version of What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yeah. That's like one of my favorite fucking shows ever.
Yeah, that's great. And what's his name? Luke on there is fantastic. Mark Hamill. Yeah.
His episode was hilarious.
Oh, it's great. I mean, he's fantastic on Metalocalypse as well. He does basically half the council on there, but his character on What We Do in the Shadows is hilarious. He's got that talking fish.
Oh, yeah, the fucking Billy Bass thing.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Matt Berry, Laszlo.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I told Ryan he's the only man on the planet I would ever leave him for. But I love him so much. He's so talented and so fucking funny. And yeah, he's one of the funniest humans on the planet.
They got all those guys are hilarious on that show.
That whole cast, man. Yeah. I want to be Nadja for Halloween.
Oh, that's perfect.
I fucking love her. That little creepy doll. It's so good.
What the fuck? Whoever came up with that doll is genius, because that is literally one of the creepiest fucking things I've ever seen on TV. And you don't expect it until it just kind of creeps into subsequent episodes, and there's that doll that's just sitting there talking. It's like, what?
Yep. Oh my God, I love that show. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
That they'd mentioned. What are you doing, Kitty? Can you see this? Lita. She's like wrecking shit.
Oh, we're having a bunch of guest stars.
Ryan's back there looking at a lot of pornography. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing.
He's cleaning up after kitties.
Okay, so the final portion of our fun quiz section. Do you remember back in the day when we all did Mad Libs?
Oh my God, I love Mad Libs.
You know, Joe's a writer. You already knew that. So he writes one specifically for our guest each week. We call that Nad Libs because we're a bunch of 3-year-olds. What happens is I will ask you a couple word types and we'll fill out your story, and I will read back your story after we have all of it.
I love Mad Libs.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Name of a season.
Fall.
An emotion.
Horny.
This is already going places. A type of alcoholic beverage.
Four Roses bourbon.
Very specific.
A type of narcotic.
Luminol.
There you go. Anything works. A type of fluid.
Jizz.
A synonym for angry.
Oh, pissy.
A type of transportation.
What are the Jetsons cars called? A Jetson mobile.
Jetson mobile it is.
That's worked.
Your favorite cartoon.
Oh, Smurfs.
Smurfs. Your favorite hair band.
Poison.
Is Poison a Philly band? And finally, a type of fluid.
Snot.
Snot.
Nice.
We edit out the snarfs if you screw something up. So don't worry.
Yeah, I do my best to make me look good. The name of this story is Stephanie Fills In.
You see what I did there? Because she's a drummer. Fills
That's
in.
good.
Yeah.
He's always
Triple
clever.
entendre.
Clever smart ass. Stephanie fills in. One sultry fall, Stephanie won a radio contest in which she was able to name all the Fraggles from Fraggle Rock. Stephanie was very horny to go see Van Halen at the Bridgestone Arena. Unfortunately, her front row seats happened to be right next to handsome Jimmy Hansen and Hugh Jackman, who were both shirtless and screaming Backstreet Boys songs at the band.
What we do.
In another stroke of bad luck, Stephanie was disappointed to see that Sammy Hagar would be singing as opposed to her favorite, Gary Sharon. Later, Stephanie was pissed off due to the expensive 4 roses she had gotten from the concession stand. She told Hanson, Jimmy, and Hugh Jackman that if they didn't stop screaming, she would kick their asses. Suddenly, the music stopped, and Stephanie saw that Alex Van Halen had fallen from behind the expansive drum set. Fortunately, the road manager recognized Stephanie from the plethora of other bands she plays for, and since she kicks ass, he asked her to fill in with the band. As Stephanie crawled onto the stage, she noticed that pervert Hugh Jackman was trying to look up her skirt. As Stephanie sat behind the drums, she had to move Alex's bucket of luminol to the side. In the encore, Van Halen played the Backstreet Boys Hangin' Tough just to make Hanson Jimmy happy.
It worked.
Backstage, while the rest of the band drank gin, Sammy Hagar made a clumsy pass at Stephanie. Offended, Stephanie went home and told her husband about the fiasco at the concert. Pissy Ryan went to the Bridgestone Arena and kicked Sammy Hagar's ass. Since he was already nearby, Ryan kicked Hugh Jackman's ass too for good measure. After the carnage, Ryan picked up his wife in their Jetsmobile and they went to their friend Gino's. At Gene's, they all put on matching Smurf pajamas and listened to Gene's extensive library of Poison while drinking snot until the wee hours of the morning.
Wow.
That was a good one.
Wow,
That
Joe.
was really funny.
The end.
And you said Backstreet Boys saying Hangin' Tough. That was
right.
actually New Kids on the Block.
See, don't do that though. Don't correct them. Don't do it. You let it
Because I'm
go.
an 80s nerd.
Yeah, now you're gonna be the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, yeah. It's the club of people that know way too much about Backstreet Boys. And that club includes you and Jimmy. We've wound through that ridiculousness. We're to the point where Jimmy tells us about his past week's Cruddy cuisine.
Oh my God, is that me? Am I on? Did you get your cookies, Gene?
I did. They were fucking delicious.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I could
cookies.
not eat 75 cookies in 3 days. So by the end, they were all stale and I had to get rid of a couple of them. But
That's all right.
I'm
You
ready
were supposed
for
to take a little nibble of each one. That's all.
you know that can't happen.
Yeah.
So I put on, over these holidays, I put on 75 pounds.
Yep. I'm with you. Because not only did I make like 500 cookies last week, but I also had to do Christmas Eve dinner and Christmas Day dinner. I made like a 6-pound prime rib for 4 people, which was insanity. And then I made a full duck on Christmas Day. And I did it in a different way than I usually do. I usually go a little crazy and I prep it for 2 days. This time I didn't fuck around. I cut the skin, salt and pepper. I threw it in a freaking Dutch oven. Boom. 5 hours later, I had the perfect.
Dutch oven.
Perfect
You're giggling about Dutch oven.
Yeah, Joe literally
so
thinks
good.
you put it under your cover and farted on it. Okay, so you made a duck, and then you made a, what was the other
Yeah.
one? A COVID ham was the first one?
I made a prime rib the night before.
Prime rib.
A delicious standing rib roast.
Quite
Okay,
the
what'd you get
chef.
for Christmas?
I got a prep deck. Fucking amazing. It's like a thing for all your shit when you're cooking. It was yet another gift my family got me, and they're like, here you go. Merry Christmas. Back in the kitchen.
It was the male equivalent of a vacuum, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Make my dinner, bitch.
Yep. They were like, okay.
So anything else? You have any other recipes or anything for us?
No, that's it. That's it for this week. I do. It's a lot of cooking.
We did say that we would review the cookies, and the cookies were delicious. Jimmy would not share the recipe for any of them when I asked him about them.
Oh, Gene, did you enjoy the full COVID flavor of Jimmy's cookies?
Yes. I'm just sweating it out right now.
It's COVID immunity that I gave you.
Yeah, it's that new strain. The cookie strain. We have Chris's segment.
Okay, I have a question for you, McNasty. What did that one person do that ruined Christmas that one time? And if that one person was you, what did that asshole do to ruin Christmas that one time?
Well, I'll tell you. It was a fat man named Nicholas who got really drunk and beat the crap out of me in the parking lot of a bowling alley between a Goodwill and a barbecue shack. Asshole.
Normally, I know you would have something to promote, but you probably don't have any gigs. Do you have any other stuff going on currently that you would like to promote or share?
The exotic ones, the CD shipped the other day. Troy got
really?
a shipping notification for the Mystery Machine EP, so hopefully the physical CDs will be available on Bandcamp soon.
Is Spring Break Forever doing anything?
They're gonna try to start it back up soon now that Ryan's got the whole Zoom thing
Cool.
kind of figured out. Are going to continue their Trick or Treat podcast 5 minutes after midnight. Yeah, I think they're going to continue that.
Oh, we're getting to Ryan's butt show.
Oh, is he bending over?
Yeah.
Joe's
We're adding a
Ryan.
little sexual element to the show.
It is my job.
I wanted to thank the Get Along gang, Handsome Jimmy Hansen, spreading COVID up north right now, the brains behind everything Cruddy Joe, Gina Roy Coffinberry, and most importantly, the talented and hilarious Stephanie Brush. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Stephanie.
Thank you guys. This was fun.
On that note, G's up and hose down while you motherfuckers bounce to this.
There it is.
Good night.
Pornhub apparently has audio to script for blind people.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
That's pretty nice.
There he goes.
Life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. When you've got walls or boys in the heart, listen to the high low. Downtown, just listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalk where the neon signs are pretty. How can you lose? The lights are much brighter there. You can forget all your troubles, forget all your cares, so go and
I will kill you and your family and everyone associated with you.